So in this video, we're going to talk about how to find a profitable product to sell, right? If you've never sold on e-commerce before, or maybe you have, but you're relatively new, the most difficult thing for everybody when they first start is getting started, right? Everybody gets stuck. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people tend to get stuck in this phase because they're stuck in like this analysis by paralysis. They feel like they have to get the perfect product and they have to get the right product on their first try. Well, I want to let you know, as somebody who's been selling online for the past 8 years, and I've helped hundreds, if not thousands of people at this point of get started with selling on e-commerce, on Amazon or on other platforms, I want to let you know most people struggle with this. Most people don't get the product right on their first try, and that's okay. So one of the important things to know is that everything that you do when you start out, you're going to learn something from it, right? You might get a killer product, you might not. But for all those flops, there's a learning lesson that you can use for your next product. So even though most people get stuck here or tend to take a little while to get past this, I hope that you don't. I hope that you realize that right now, when you first get started, it's all about learning. It's all about testing and figuring out what's going to work. So go with whatever product you feel most comfortable with after you do some research. But to start out, I want to show you this tool that we use called Shop Plus. So Shop Plus is a tool for TikTok shop sellers. They have different tiers: basic, premium, and professional. Personally, I recommend getting the professional plan because it's going to give you unlimited access and unlimited lists of everything. The premium and the basic, they have you limited. So basic, you're limited to 100, top 100, and premium top 300, where with the professional, you get access to everything on the list. So that's my personal recommendation. Take it if you want, try it out. But we're going to dive in to how to use Shop Plus a little bit here, and we'll take it from there. So what you're going to do, if you want to see what products are currently selling really well on TikTok, you come here to products and go to top sales, right? So make sure you select the country that you're selling in, so most likely the US. It defaults to show you sales for just what were the top selling products yesterday. You can look at it by week. I personally prefer to look at monthly sales, right? So since I'm recording this at the beginning of the year, the last full month was December of last year. So when we click on monthly, it's showing us what the top selling products were in the US for the month of December, right? So things are going to change and vary a little bit year to year, but that's okay. Here you can choose different product categories, and there's also a lot of subcategories you can look at as well. Okay, so first thing to know about TikTok and selling on TikTok Shop is, unlike Amazon, if somebody sees your content and clicks on your product, they're not going to see 50 other products that are exactly like yours. They're only seeing just the one if they clicked on the content to see the product listing on the TikTok Shop, right? So let's say you wanted to sell a kitchen product, all right? So if we look here, we can see that last month, the top selling product in the kitchen category was a 40-ounce stainless steel tumbler, and they were selling it for $13.39. They sold 44,000 units and almost $600,000 in sales, right? So the reason why I talk a little bit about the price piece is because you can see these guys are selling it for $13. These guys are selling it for $5.95. Let me just open this up in a new tab and let me just search for stainless steel tumblers, and we can see all the different stainless steel tumblers that pop up. All right, so look at just the US. Okay, so $5.95, $7.19, $18.95, 33, 24, $8.69. So you can see that there's tons of different prices for these products, right? And it's sorted by top units sold. So these guys were super cheap. They sold 175,000 units, did $1 million of revenue. Probably didn't make much money though. So these guys were $7.19, sold 12,500 units, did $89,000 in revenue. Okay. So one thing to note that I mentioned previously is price. While it is an important factor, it's not the end all be all, because it's not like people are coming and searching for a stainless steel tumbler like they are here on Amazon and then seeing all these different options and they're able to price compare, right? So just because somebody is selling for a product on TikTok Shop and they're selling it for a lot less than what you might be able to source and profitably sell it for, it's okay. Don't worry about it. On TikTok Shop, what sells is the content that you create or the content that you hire influencers to create for you. At the end of the day, that is what sells products on TikTok. It's, people aren't going to TikTok specifically to search for a product to find it, buy it, and sell it. They're going to TikTok to watch some videos of influencers that creators are making to kind of relax, enjoy themselves. They're not going to shop, right? And so with TikTok, a lot of times what we're playing on is we're playing on an impulse buy, right? Somebody sees some content, they decide they really want that product, or they've seen that product pop up multiple times from multiple influencers that they follow, and then they decide to buy it, right? So while pricing is an important piece, it doesn't determine how successful or unsuccessful you're going to be. So I just wanted to point that out starting out because of things like this. $5.95. Of course you could never compete with that, but that's not your competition, okay? So if we go back to here, we can see that for the month of December, this tumbler was, the top selling kitchen product. If you were to click on this, like I have here, you can, look at sales for the past 30 days. You can set a date range. I did November 1st through today, which is middle of January. And we can see that these guys have sold 117,000 units. They've done $1.3 million in sales. All right. You can come back and you can see how much they've sold by day by, subtracting out the difference. All right. So what this tells us is that, there's a lot of demand for this type of product, right? So the way the demand is created, though, is it's all from content. So if we were to look at this side over here, we can see that this product has 640 relevant videos from 170 different influencers, right? Look at this stainless steel tumbler. This one was a lot cheaper than that one. It sold, 25% of what this one sold. These guys have 402 relevant videos, 167 influencers, right? So when it comes to TikTok, like I can't stress it enough, what's going to sell is the content. It's not going to be the price. Price can help, but it's going to be the content and the influence that you create with, that you work with, right? Like these guys have 2/3 of the influencers that these guys have, yet their sales are only 25% of it. But these guys are less than half the price. So what sells on TikTok is content. Just remember that. So what I would recommend when trying to find a product to sell is go with something you are familiar with. Go with something you're passionate about. Go with something you can get behind, right? Because if it's something you know a lot about or something you're really passionate about, that's going to help. If you decide to make content yourself, that's going to help you create better content, and that's going to come through, and that's going to help sell it better. Or if you're working with influencers, you know how to hook in the audience and pull them in with the content, and you can tell the influencer, give them an outline of more or less what to say or key points that you want them to mention, right? So when it comes to selling a product on TikTok, right, what you have to remember is you're selling the sizzle, right? It's the sizzle that makes people feel compelled to buy. All right. So I would recommend going with something you feel passionate about. But tools like this, what they're going to do is they're going to help you look at TikTok Shop and have a better understanding of what's selling, right? So kitchenware, beauty products sell really well, supplements, there's a lot of different products that sell really well. See, me personally, in a million years, I never would have guessed the top selling product on TikTok Shop would be a hairbrush, a $9 hairbrush, right? But clearly these guys know something we don't, right? So this detangling hairbrush, it's been selling on TikTok for a little while now. They did 135 units last month, $1.2 million in sales. And when we look here at their relevant videos, they have 857 videos and they have 370 influencers promoting it. All right. So clearly these guys didn't get there overnight, right? You start with one video, one influencer. If that influencer is good, you go back to them, have them make a second video, third video, fourth video, and then you start to add influencers over time, right? So like everything, you're not going to be number one day one, and that's okay. You shouldn't be. Everything takes time to build. So what you'll focus on is you'll just focus on finding a new influencer each week, and slowly over time, the number of influencers you have selling your product is going to increase. Same with the number of videos that you have that are selling your product is going to increase as well. So coming into this, don't feel like, oh, well, I could never sell a hairbrush because they have, 857 videos and 370 influencers already selling this product. It doesn't matter. There's millions of content creators on TikTok that you could work with, right? So just because they're working with 370 of them doesn't mean you couldn't be successful as well selling this product, okay, or selling a similar product. If let me just find the tab really fast. All right, so like I came here and I typed in teeth whitening kit. There's a lot of teeth whiteners on TikTok, right? This is the top selling one, My Smile. They've sold 164,000 units, $2.7 million in sales. They have another kit, sells for $23.95, 82,000 units, $1.97 million in sales. These guys are selling theirs for 10. They've done 53,000. These guys are selling it for $29.99. They've sold 19,000. Okay. So, if we look at relevant videos, 285 relevant videos, 321 influencers that they're working with, 393 relevant videos, 315. These guys only have 66, so maybe their content's better, right? And that's why it's converting more, or could be their price is cheap. Like these guys, $29.99. So out of this top 4, they're the most expensive. They only have 23 relevant videos and only 4 influencers promoting it. Okay, so what I can't stress enough when it comes to TikTok is how you're going to sell your product is through content. You don't have to create it. You can work with influencers to get that content created. That's what we've always done. I personally haven't made anything. It's always been influencers that we rely on to create content for the products that we've sold. Just because somebody's selling a product and selling a product for a lot less doesn't mean you can't compete with them, because we can see here that, Some people are really cheap and probably helps them a little bit. But, would you rather sell something for $6 and do 85,000 in sales, or sell something for $29.99 and do $570,000 in sales, right? If we look at the images, the products look like they're identical. So what sells the product is the content, right? The content is what's going to sell the product. So sell something that that you're passionate about, something that you can get behind, because that's going to help you work with influencers to create better content to sell. Okay. So, I would recommend just spending some time diving into the different categories, different products on Shop Plus, searching up products the way I have. If you're kind of struggling and you need some more influence, some more, you need to look at more products, right? Honestly, you could come to Amazon and go to the best sellers page. And literally in here, you can come and you can look at any department. So let's look at beauty. So the best-selling beauty product on Amazon is not a hairbrush, but it's Snail Mucin. These guys are actually killing it on TikTok too. But anyways, so you can come here and you use this for inspiration for products, right? So maybe you want to sell face cream. Maybe you want to sell mascara. Maybe it's a acne patch, right? Maybe it's makeup. Maybe it's makeup remover. There's no one right or wrong answer behind what product you sell, okay? Like I said, this is the part that most people struggle with starting out, and they get hung up because they feel like they have to get the best product. There is no best product. There's just different products. So start with one, find influencers, promote it. If it sells great, keep going with it. If it's not a home run, it's a base hit, that's okay. Use that as a learning experience and use that to build off of. You don't have to start with just one product. You can start with several products if you want to. Like I said, there's not one right or wrong way to do this. There's just different ways. So these resources here are to help you kind of brainstorm and figure out what type of products you want to sell, whether it's you want to build a brand, or maybe you want to do wholesale, or maybe you want to do drop shipping, or maybe you want to do print on demand products. There's several different ways to sell on TikTok right now. Because this is so new, there's not a lot of competition. And because there's not a lot of competition out there, there's tons of opportunity, right? So the worst thing you could do is not figure out a product and just get stuck in this phase. The best thing you can do is try something and move on. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, try a different product. Sometimes it takes multiple tests to find what's going to work. So use tools like Shop Plus, use Amazon bestseller page, go through here, brainstorm, and figure out what type of products you want to sell. And hopefully this helps. If you have any questions, we're here to support you along the way. So feel free to reach out at any time.